I'm American by choice. I see here the spirit that, individuals fight for what's theirs, and mostly I see that in farmers. Most of the citizens felt that the urban sprawl was taking away or challenging or affecting their lifestyle, so they voted in a 4,000 acre preserve, which we now call the Greenbelt. I'm Carl Pong's resident, farmer, business owner. We grow plants for landscape use. Primarily you'd see our product parks, shopping centers, along the freeways, and most recently we're seeing a lot of demand for mitigation of urban runoff in what they called bioremediation ponds.
My name's Rick Moslenko, and my wife and I moved to the Greenbelt we bought the property in 1998. We did all of the land clearing ourselves, and we did we put up our fence, we planted all of our trees, we built our home here, and we absolutely love it. We grow avocados, and it helps offset the cost of the water, some of the maintenance that goes into growing the avocados.
I became aware of policy changes overnight during the last recession, 2006, 7, 8. Our water bill on one piece of property went from $300 to $2,600 overnight. In talking to the neighbors who had similar frustrations to mine, the feedback I got was, well, there's nothing we can do. The city runs the board. They run the elections. The canal does whatever they want. Even when talking to the manager, he just threw up his arms, said, hey, I do what they tell me.
We felt like if we don't do something, our lifestyle is going to change dramatically, and we have to stand up for our water rights, our property rights. We need to preserve, promote, and protect the Greenbelt to the best of our ability, to leave it for future generations. We put together an effort, we talked across the fence, and we said, hey, let's do this. So we started communicating with people. We started communicating with the shareholders of Gage Canal, and lo and behold, we found out that many people in the Greenbelt had the same frustration that we did.
And for Riverside, the Greenbelt is key because it provides us a unique opportunity to grow not only plants that beautify people's land and property, but also fruit, oranges, lemons, grapefruits, avocados, grapes, I mean, you name it, and also have livestock like we do with horses on the property. And that sustainability is extremely important, especially if we find ourselves going through a major earthquake or some other calamity.
Even when I think about just what happened recently during the pandemic with the shelves, at the store kind of at different times being cleared out, we have transportation issues. Anytime we have a little buffer locally, that could be extremely important to local residents here.
At least for us, we have some produce and some other poultry items and things like that are here local, that we're not as dependent upon freeways to get here.
That's really important to keep around for any future problems that we may have with transportation or pandemics or anything, to where we have some food buffer. We can take this moment to really learn something from this lesson that was presented to us.
I think for me, I'm perfectly content to turn the other cheek when it's me. But when somebody that can't help themselves, I feel compelled to help them if I can, right? So to me, it's the landowner, the small farmers.
I'm Brian Griffith, Carl. Good to meet you, sir. I work out here. I pick the fruit. I get the fruit prepared for the market, and then we go and sell it all over Southern California.
We have to keep the water affordable. We have to keep the water flowing. And that's important.
Without the ag water, it would be a very large hardship.
What we currently have is an outdated system that in some way or another needs some kind of improvement. I mean, we've got a system that is so antiquated.
Water policy says you have to put water to beneficial use. Now, beneficial is really a broad word, right? Beneficial to whom, for what? And I guess that's where the conflict is, right? Some people want more houses, others want more open space.
I want to drive the point home. We talked about oranges going out. When the water is gone, there is no way to export anything here. If you can't grow food, if you can't grow citrus, the money goes out and you're frozen with no options.
So when you say buffer, you mean food specific,
Food,
right? Food availability.
We would be in a
security.
food desert, yeah, with regards to not having anything here that's local. You know, we keep putting houses in the Greenbelt. That's where the water is. That's where we should be growing vegetables and fruit and things of that nature.
Sustainability is very important, and sustainability makes economic sense.
We've had commitments supposedly from the city, but sometimes those things fall short. And I think that as residents, we need to take that on and make sure that that continues.
Without this energy, it would become just another, another agricultural themed neighborhood.
And it's almost like laying down the gauntlet. You know, they're going to say, well, we're going to keep doing what we're doing until somebody stops us. And I guess we're to that point where, you know, now it's time to say, hey, okay, we're going to challenge you.
In order to keep your water rights, you have to use your water. You can't hoard it. So you have to put it to beneficial use. So we have to find commodities here that we can use the water in perpetuity.
It would be great if some of these fallow lands in the Greenbelt would come back. People would take those properties on. The success of En-Gage, I think, depends on the residents' participation. En-Gage will succeed if the residents speak up and become part of the solutions.
These are people that really care about a sustainable area. And one of the things that's been important to me is working on sustainable projects.
We got community meeting together.
We want to do this right to protect all of us, not just a few selected people.
We funded this ourselves, and we started talking to people.
We kind of like to focus on the representation part. You know, we have a city, we have councilmen, we have public utilities that have board members, and they have interests and they have needs, you know, and so, you know, how do we participate in that conversation?
And next thing you know, when it came time to become elected to the board, we both got on the board of directors. We got elected.
You know, there was people from all sides of this story were there. I saw a lot of texts going back and forth. Probably some good, some not so good. But from that, we had an election, and we had so many people show up that we were concerned the fire department might shut down our election at the Little Water Mutual. I think we had 140 people there.
Finally, we thought, we're making a difference.
So far, the residents of Riverside have been very responsive. They've been very supportive.
The residents of the Greenbelt need to step up. They need to become involved in En-Gage Riverside, and whatever they can offer. You know, it might be something as simple as making a telephone call. It might be something as simple as talking to your neighbor and getting to know one another. And therefore, as a voice, we can go before the people that are making decisions about the Greenbelt and say, we want to be heard. We're not going to just stand by and let you bulldoze our Greenbelt, put up warehouses, put up tract homes.
Get out of your backyard and meet your neighbor, talk to your neighbor, see what your neighbor's doing.
Yeah.
And then that to me would be stuff.
That's why En-Gage is so important, because we can't do it as individuals. We have to do it as an organization where people can come together and say, you know what, I'm part of this EngageRiverside.org, and we can communicate with one another. We can understand what's needed to facilitate change.